Namaskar. I welcome you all to this new episode. In this, I would like to talk about something which is going on so much in newspapers nowadays, and that is that CBSE is proposing to have examination from 2025 onward twice a year. There are many people who are raising some questions on this, and there are many who are supporting it, keeping in mind the benefits which will be out of this. Now, we have to understand that when it comes to any innovation or change which is to be implemented in the form of education in schools particularly, then CBSE is the pioneer board of education. So is it the only board which can really introduce the new things, or there are other boards also which would be doing the same? So before I really get into this particular issue of having examination twice a year, will it help the children and others, or it would be causing some more problems than what we really intend to solve as of now? So when I was going through this website of COPSE, then I found that there are approximately 70 educational boards which are affiliated with COPSE, and around 65 boards are for sure which are available to us in different states and union territories in addition to CBSE. CBSE is one of those 70 odd boards which are affiliated to COPSE. So if there are so many boards, then why the focus always remains on CBSE and not really on other state boards or the boards which are there in union territories? I think the one basic answer to that question would be that this is the board which is directly administered by the Ministry of Education, Government of India, and the rest of the boards are governed by their respective states and union territories. And education being the subject of the state, hence the central government may not be in a position to do or make many changes directly without taking the states on board. So CBSE comes out to be the one particular board where the central government would be in a position to really ask the board to implement some changes as per NEP 2020, and before that whatever changes were proposed to be. So when CBSE is so important and sometimes appears to be one board which is so much active and proactive rather in innovations and making changes for the betterment of the education system in our country, sometimes really succeeding and sometimes not so much as they would have expected to succeed. So why should we not try to first understand, though many of us would be knowing about it, but unfortunately when I talked to some people about when was CBSE established and how the board system came in our country, not many of them were of certain ideas about it or certain information about it. So I thought of first sharing the establishment of the board system, the board or the body which conducted the examinations for classes 10th, oblique 12th, which were called as high school and intermediate at that particular point of time. So if I go back to 1917, 1919, that time when Calcutta Commission was formed to have a board system in our country, then first board was established in 1819, and that was named as UP Board of High School and Intermediate. And this was really catering to the needs of a larger area, United Provinces, and in addition to that, then Rajputana, then Central India, then Gwalior. I mean, it's a big territory which was under this board. It continued working till 1925-26, and then people realized there in that board who were administering it and others also who were being administered that it's becoming really tough as the number of schools were increasing and number of people were also increasing. So then it was decided that we should have another board or a number of boards in which we can have Rajputana and then we can have Gwalior, we can have Central India, either separately or we can have a joint board for them. So it was a decision taken by government that time that we'll have united primacy being administered by UP Board of High School and Intermediate, and another board be established, and which was Board of High School and Intermediate Ajmer, and this catered to the needs of Rajputana states, Ajmer, then Gwalior, then Central India, and Board of High School and Intermediate remains only for United Province. So it came into existence in 1929 and started conducting examination 1930 onward. And if I can remember it correctly, then the number of students who appeared the first time in the board examination were 3091. And by the time we were up in 1947, the number came up to around 13,777, which was quite a number. And the building was, of course, constructed in 1929 itself in Ajmer, where the present regional office of CBSE is existing. This was the building which was constructed for this particular board of high school and intermediate. In 1952, the name was changed to present name of that particular board as CBSE, Central Board of Secondary Education. And it continued after that. Of course, they did celebrate in the, I think Dr. Zakir Hussain was the chief guest. One silver jubilee of this building was celebrated in 1954. In 1963-64, I'll give you some background about the number of the schools affiliated with CBSE and as it has grown in the last so many years. If I can recall, in 63-64, there were around 40 schools which were affiliated to CBSE across 16 states and one union territory. And interestingly, it was really heartening to know that we had, CBSE had one school in Tehran, Iran also, in 63-64, affiliated to itself. In 1970, this number rose to 743, and in 1975, the number was around 1,000. And if I won't go to the exact figures for as it increased year by year, but as on today, the number of schools affiliated to CBSE is around 30,000. It may not be 30,000, but approximately 30,000, because in 2023 the number was around 28,977 or maybe 29,000. So the number has risen from 436 to almost 30,000 as of now. So that there has been rapid growth in the last 25-30 years. It didn't increase that way because the education also wasn't that much focused initially, but then ultimately it has become the ultimate focus for everyone in the government and in public as well. So in between, there were so many things which the board started doing, except conducting examination for classes 10th and 12th. I remember the first examination, competitive examination, which the board had conducted was in 1989, AIPMT, All India Pre-Medical Test, which was for the admission to different medical colleges. In 1992, the multiple sets of the question papers were introduced. Before that, we used to have only one set of the question paper given to all the students, but in 1992, multiple sets of the question papers were introduced. In 2000, because now the CBSE started looking beyond conducting examination, rather to improve the quality of learning as well. So to motivate the teachers, they introduced CBSE awards for teachers in 2000. That was the first time it was held. And it wasn't only for the teachers they were doing. CBSE was taking initiative. In 2001, they started one program in association with the IIMs of India, in which the principals were trained for 15 days or maybe 20 days or a month for the strategic leadership course. And then in 2002, the engineering entrance examination again was given to CBSE, that was AIEEE, All India Entrance Examination for Engineering. was that. And in 2003, we all know, because this was very recent, we celebrated platinum jubilee of the board. In 2009, after the changes made by the government of India, CCE was introduced, a continuous and comprehensive evaluation scheme, and then we had that report card which was giving complete information about the students. Another information is because as the number of schools affiliated with the CBSE increased, so was the regional offices. Because if I can recall, in 1990 we had around 6 regional offices, but now, as on today, we have 16 regional offices which are working across the country for the benefit of the schools, the students, and of course the board, because most of the things are taken care of the help and the problems faced by schools and students at local level. They don't need necessarily to travel to Delhi or one centralized place for that. Now, keeping in mind all these things, CBSE has been involved in training program for the teachers, is involved in conducting even the sports competitions for the students. And very recently, because initially CBSE games were not recognized by the games authorities of India, but now the CBSE games have also been introduced, and the children would be getting benefit out of that if they are playing in CBSE games. And in between, the CBSE went across the boundaries. As I told you before, in 63-64 we had one school outside India, and that was in Tehran. As on today, the schools are across the globe. Their Middle East is particularly full of CBSE affiliated schools, and these are in Bangladesh, in Sri Lanka, and even in these areas also the schools have been established, and people are demanding. And very interesting thing is that despite the fact, as I told you, that there are around 65 boards, I have not come across any case where CBSE school would have got converted into some state board school. Most of the state board schools are getting converted into CBSE. And the advantage is particularly for those people who are in All India services, the ones who get posted out from one place to another place every 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years afterwards. So as the children get the same kind of syllabus, curriculum, and same kind of teaching pattern across India, they are very happy studying in CBSE schools. And CBSE has collaborated with NCERT so well that as far as the syllabus is concerned, the curriculum is concerned, that is always prepared by CBSE in collaboration with CBSE. And when it comes to learning outcomes, the books prepared, that all is done by CBSE in consultation and in collaboration with NCERT. And NCERT is one body which is really responsible for the innovation and improvement in the education system of our country. So I have confined myself only to talking to you all about the CBSE, a little bit of history of that we should all know, because many of us, most of us, those who are across these 30,000 schools must be aware of how did we start, like CBSE start in 1929, became CBSE in 1952, and how from 63-64, when you had only 430 now reached to around 30,000 schools and crores of students studying in this board and being benefited. But my question would be, has the road been so smooth for CBSE? Are all the steps taken by CBSE helpful to us? Has CBSE improved the education quality, our learning outcomes, or there have been some issues in this? And this particular idea of the government, and then through CBSE, of having board examinations, that is examinations for classes 10th and 12th twice a year, is it a good idea, or will it have some problems? Should it be implemented? Should it be implemented differently? I mean, I would like to talk to you and convey my opinion and share my opinion with all of you in the next video. Thank you. Let's meet in the next video. Thank you very much.